Welcome back to #adulting, everybody. I'm Zack Peter.
And I'm Abigail Fraher. And we're back.
How you doing? We're back. We're still live.
I feel like these weeks go by. Yeah, and these weeks go by so fast. It's like, and slow, but fast.
The days go by slow, but the weeks go by fast. Like we've been in
100%.
quarantine for what, 6 weeks now?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. I mean, I monitor it by my roots.
Exactly. That's exactly what we were talking about.
So I figured this would be a good, so we've talked about sex, we've talked about like beauty treatments, we've talked about money, we've talked about mental health. We have tackled quite a few topics in quarantine, but one thing we haven't talked about that I really want to dive into is dating and relationships in quarantine, because we're both single in quarantine. Yes. Well, we'll get to it in a minute, but like, how is your life going?
Zack is married. Zack had his whole courtship during quarantine, got married, and now I'm the only single one.
How is so you're single? Are you dating at all right now?
So, I mean, how do you even constitute dating, like, in this? Like, would you constitute dating as, like, virtual dates? Like, does that count as dating?
Yeah,
somebody? Like,
that's dating.
Yeah? Okay. I mean, I guess I'm dating.
That's good. I
have
an announcement to make.
Okay.
So I think it's fair to say that I'm in a relationship. I am dating someone, and it's pretty exclusive. And I know this is a bit of a plot twist, but I figured I would introduce them here on the show right now, just because things have gotten so serious. This is, so before you judge, I just want you to know this is a little unorthodox. So I figured I would just introduce my new lover. So I would like everyone to meet me.
Thank God. Oh my God. You had me fucking scared, Zack. I was like, oh my God, is there like someone sitting here this whole time?
Do you imagine if I really did have somebody here right now? No, I don't have anybody. I mean, this is as committed as I've been getting. This is as much action as I've been getting. Just me and me.
Weren't you seeing somebody, kind of?
I am, okay, so I guess we should talk about, let's talk about our dating situation, and then we'll get into like tips and hacks and what other people can be doing. So I am trying to expose myself to as many types of different dating situations as I can. So I have been dating a lot. So going into, I'm probably not allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. So going into quarantine, agreed to do this like dating show. So I'm kind of participating in that still, and that's kind of something that'll come out probably later in the summer, but that's something that I started at the beginning of the quarantine, which has been a really interesting, it's more of like a dating experiment, and it's really kind of fun, and I'm really enjoying that process. So it's advanced in there a little bit, and so we'll see how that turns out. But outside of that, I've been on the dating apps. I've gone on a couple of different FaceTime dates or virtual dates, FaceTime and Zoom.
Yes.
And so I'm kind of just, there was for a minute at the beginning, there was this guy that I was talking to, and we went on like 6 FaceTime dates, and it was going really well. And then it kind of fizzled out. Yeah. So it's kind of fizzled out since then. And I haven't heard much from him. Like, he'll respond to my Instagram stories, but like he hasn't responded to my text messages. So I don't know what I did. I haven't fucked his friend. So, I mean, I should still be in good graces, but, yeah, so I'm just trying to keep my options open. There was the speed dating company that was always reaching out to me, and they would invite me to their speed dating events, and I would kind of just like work the room for them. They now have launched a virtual speed dating thing that I'm going to be doing actually tonight or Monday night while we're taping.
So you're going to be hosting it, or you're going to be like a part of it?
No, I'm going to be one of the daters in it.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
So
are you nervous? I feel like you fucking love speed dating.
I love speed dating just because it's like, I don't know, because like if I'm not into it, then I just fuck with you and I like have a good time, and I'm like, I don't take it too seriously. But there is another guy that I've been talking to lately that I met on Bumble, and it's kind of a vibe, and I'm kind of feeling it, but I'm trying to not like get my hopes up too high because I'm like, let's be realistic. Let's keep the options open. That way you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. So there are, potentials. And I think as of last night, we took things to a different level. So I'm hoping that either that helps and doesn't ruin the vibe we've got going on.
Okay. So what level?
I'm
being so nosy. I'm like, I want to know it all.
No, I love it because I'm normally the other one poking and prying, and I'll get to you in a minute. We went from just like getting to know each other to getting to see more of each other.
Okay.
We haven't like met yet, but like we've done a lot of virtual stuff, and he may have gotten some stuff.
Love it. I love it.
So yeah, last night was a fun.
Go ahead.
We we were just having a night and we were drinking, and then we just got a little unfiltered, and it just kind of one thing led to another, and I was up till like 1 a.m.
And how do you feel today? Like, do you feel good about everything still? Because
I feel okay. I don't know. I know once you like take that step, like it could either like be like, okay, this isn't going to be a serious thing. Like now it's just going to be like a sexual thing, or maybe I'm not into you anymore. Maybe last night my hormones were going and I didn't like the way that it went last. Like, I don't know. There are just so many different things. So I'm trying to like, it's still morning. So I'm trying to like read the situation. I sent like a little, so since last night we kind of broke that seal, I sent like a little video from the shower today, and I didn't get the response that I wanted. So I don't know if it's killed me.
No.
I just expected, like for me, one thing that I've learned is my love language is definitely words of affirmation. So like, I need you to tell me that you find me attractive. I need you to tell me that you think I'm hot, or that you like my butt, or like what, like I need you to validate me with your words. Like that's just my thing. And I get like not everybody's like as comfortable just like giving out compliments, but like for me, that's one thing that makes me, I need to feel attractive, and I need you to make me feel like you're attracted to me. So I guess I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm blowing it out of proportion. We'll see where this goes, but I like it. I'm hoping it goes somewhere. I'm trying to keep my options open so that I don't get too excited and then I'm heartbroken at the end of it. But we'll see where it goes. What about you?
Okay, I like that though. I feel like too with like that kind of stuff, like I'm very much like, I have to be in the mood. So like, I can't always like you said, you sent the shower, like little video this morning. Like for me, like I've gotten stuff like that before. And like, I've just been like, wait, I'm not like, my head's not there right now. And I don't know why it's not like, for me, it's very like, I'm not, coffee. I'm right. But I'm like, I'm not always like sexually like ready. And I know no one's always, but like there's times too, like where I feel like I'm such a control freak. Like I feel like mentally be like, okay, now this is what's gonna happen. So like, and I feel like I'm like the dick that you were talking to this morning sometimes, where I'm just like, oh, LOL, and they're like, you're not gonna tell them back.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I don't
take it personally. Know. Like just from somebody.
I'm trying not to take it personally, and like this is again why I think it's really healthy right now that like while you're dating, because I've talked to a lot of friends and they're dating people and they're getting serious with people in quarantine, and I'm like reminding them, because I think what we forget too is that like we're in a very heightened state right now where we're really craving intimacy and craving connection. So I think relationships and dating is progressing a lot quicker. And two, the world has been put on pause right now. So like it's very easy. Yeah, it's very easy to advance. Like I have one friend that like was started to see this guy right before quarantine, and then they've continued to see each other through quarantine. Actually, I have a couple of friends, but one specifically that like things have really advanced, and then they had their first little tiff recently, and I was like, and she's like, it just feels so new, but I'm like, but you guys have been seeing each other for like 2 months, and in quarantine world that's probably like 4 months, and so like now you have to realize that your relationship is advanced because you have just each other. So you're getting to know each other a lot quicker. Like the fights are going to come. Like these are the things that you need to work through. But the hard part is it's like you also don't know how either of you are in the real world. Like, you don't know if they're addicted to the waiter. You don't know if they're, you know, a social butterfly or like super shy. Like, I feel like all of those things come into factor as well.
No, totally.
That's why dating in quarantine is like dating on steroids.
No, I fully agree with you. And like for me, it's super weird because like I've been like on the I've been back on the apps. Raya added like a video like part to theirs where you can like video the
naughty face
talking to. And I'm just like, well, fuck that. Like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, I don't know why, but like, it's not happening. Like, and I'm not. Like, I don't want to have like, I don't know. I'm just weird. Like, I don't know you, and I think it's weird for me to like have a FaceTime chat with someone that I've like never met before. Again, I'm
no, that's the best.
I know that's what you say, but like, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm back in Ohio, so like, I've got a few people here that I've been like, you know, hey, might have a hot date tomorrow. Like
physical date?
Physical. Even though we're not supposed to be doing that. People don't judge me.
No, but a lot of my friends are doing that as well. I haven't gone on a physical date only because like proximity has been an issue, or like I just, you know, we haven't talked about like meeting in person. But I've had friends that are like going on like social distancing walks or like going for coffee, and like it's a
I don't think it's gonna be a social distance walk.
It's gonna be a social distance romp.
But it's just different because like I still have like one of my apps set to LA, and then I have another one set for here just because I think it's funny. Like I would never date somebody from here, but like the few people that I've been like, you know, having a time with, one of them I'm like, yeah, like fuck it, like I'm here, might as well, like why not? Like we have a good, like I feel like we have decent chemistry, and like, you know, we've had like the whole like that's fine to video chat someone, like I know you, I don't know, I'm not weird about that. And like, you know, we've had some video situations in LA before I came out here, but then like I got out here and I was like, oh, I don't know, like is this something I want to do? Like just because like it's fun to play, it's fun to tease, like I don't know, to really want to like have sex with you and then it be like weird, like is it gonna be weird after? Like also too, like my friend from home is so funny, and she was like, you should just like, hopefully they're not listening to this, but whatever.
I know, I'm worried about that because I've had guys that listen to my shows before, and I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to say too much.
Right, and I don't want, like, I guess like but you know me, like I'm very open. If you ask me like what my thoughts are on things, I'll tell you. But for me, it's just like my friend from home or from LA is like, you should just like, you know, like do like a little dating situation and then you fucking leave and it's done. And I was like, why not? Like I don't know. We all, you know, want that like time, or I mean, I haven't, like, it's the whole time of quarantine. Like I haven't been with anybody. It's been a while. I've been, you know, through my dry streak, and like, why not? It's fine. I don't know. And like I have a few like people lined up for like after quarantine that, like I said, I hate video chatting. So I'm like, oh, like after this is over, we have to get together. And like there's a few people in LA that I'm like, you know, like because I feel like too, I haven't been dating, like even when we weren't in quarantine. So like the fact that I'm like ready to get back dating and it's during quarantine is making it like just a little trickier for me. I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like I mean, I think as long as you go into it with having the conversation of like, what do we want this to be? What is this going to be? Is it going to be a quarantine fling, or are we dating as if we were in the real world and like plan to like continue seeing each other? But I mean,
and like
I think
the
totally
person
have
in
fun
Ohio, yeah, there's I
live
mean,
your
no
life.
that conversation, and that's I think what I like is the conversation doesn't even need to be had because it's like
you live in LA and they live in Ohio. Yeah.
Like that's not like even a conversation. So I think too, that's like what I like about it, is that there's such concrete terms that I'm just like.
Have you applied any of the lessons we learned from April and Amy in the Shameless Sex episode?
What have I applied? Yeah, actually, after that episode. Do I want to go into what? I don't know. I mean, I think virtual sex is chill.
Virtual sex, like FaceTime or like Snapchat.
Yeah, like FaceTime or Snapchat. It's chill.
It's chill. Or Instagram.
I know. I don't trust it. I don't know. There's something about the Instagram. like Instagram, if you send them like the bomb ones, that's fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah,
Like,
and they also let you know if people have taken screenshots. It notifies
right,
you.
which I love. But the actual Instagram FaceTimes kind of creep me out. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, I haven't used the Instagram FaceTime.
Oh yeah, I've definitely been using the Instagram little one-time view only,
Yeah.
view once. Like,
Yes.
control.
That's
And like,
what I sent this morning. Well, what I like about the
control the
Instagram one is
angle.
that you can control the angle, you can set the timer, you can like that's how I do my shower. Like if I'm gonna take something in the shower, then I can like prop it up and like set it so that the timer is on.
No, 100%. And
I feel like it's way more convenient than Snapchat.
100%. I fully agree with that. And I think too, like my thing is now, like with quarantine, like I like put on a little weight, and like I'm really working on it now to like not just like get back to where I was. But like that's scary too. I'm like, I don't know. Do I really want to go like expose my whole body? I'm not fully comfortable in it right now. Like, but then I'm also like, fuck it.
Live your life. YOLO.
YOLO. But yeah, I think it's been interesting. I think everyone's gonna have to kind of figure it out when it's over too. And like I think that's the thing, is like I'm not ready to be in anything serious right now. So I think this is perfect.
Okay. So you've come to that establishment that you don't want a relationship anytime soon. You're just kind of dating for the sport and having fun.
100%. And like I don't really
like
like
that.
you know, we're so fucking busy. Like I don't want to put that much time into somebody else right now. Like I'm just not. I'm sure that will change. Like I'm such a person, like I go through cycles where I'm like, oh my God, I want to be out all the time. I want to be social. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm an introvert. Or like, I want to be dating. Or like, oh, I want to go have fun, like casual, like flings. Or like, I don't. Like, and now, right now, I'm like in that in between. And I think it really is just a mindset. Like, there's no harm in just having fun. Like, it's not hurting anybody.
No, and what I like about you owning that is I feel like so many people are in a place where they want to get into a relationship or they want to jump into something because they feel lonely, and that's a really unhealthy reason to want to date right now, is because you feel like you need intimacy or you want somebody to love you right now. Like for me, I've come to the realization that I definitely want to be in a relationship right now. Like it's time. It's time.
Well, one of us have to stay single for the show, you know. I'll do it.
And one of us has to jump into a relationship so we can be more relatable to more people.
Right.
And then one of us will get married and one of us have a baby. No,
maybe not those orders. I don't know.
We'll see. I think, but I didn't come to that realization during quarantine. I came to that realization coming into 2020. I was like, this is going to be my year where I'm going to, because I told myself I wanted to live in my new apartment for at least a year and live my downtown life before I even thought about getting serious with somebody. And I did. And I reached that 1 year mark in February. I'm like, okay, I kind of have spread my seed and now it's time to really think about like what I want my future to look like and really start to date a little more seriously. And then, so I said one of my 2020 goals was I was going to get into a relationship, a serious committed relationship. It was time. And then the week before everything started getting shut down, I was in a meeting with somebody, and it went from like business to, we ended up talking just like about like personal life. And she asked me if I'm dating, and I said, I'm sort of dating. And, you know, she's like, but are you like dating for a relationship? And I was like, I'm open to it. And she said, no. The universe does not respond to I'm open. The universe doesn't know what the fuck I'm open means. The universe responds to yes, and the universe responds to no. So you're either yes, you want a relationship, or no, you don't want a relationship. And you need to be honest about that, which was the same thing Dr. V told me when we taped with her in October. She's like, maybe you're not saying that you're open to something is not necessarily the same thing as like actually saying, yes, I want it.
Right.
So then in that night, I said yes. And now I'm like, you know, I've got
now
options.
like, you know, I love that. I love that. I feel like I'm just so fucking picky. And that's not a good thing. Like I'm like overly picky. Like it's like annoying. Like it will be like I'll be like on these profiles and I'll be like, okay, oh fuck no. Like it just, so I just think I'm not there. I just don't think I'm there. And I want to be, but like wanting to be and knowing that you are and are not there, like
we have cycles that we need
fucked up. Yeah, but like I know, like if I was with somebody and then someone else better came along, I'd be like, bye.
I love
And that
that.
sounds fucked up, but like, I just, I don't know,
That's
man.
the interesting thing too. And I don't know if it's quarantine life that's affecting this, but I feel like of the guys that I'm talking to,
Yeah.
the one that I kind of am feeling the most right now isn't what I would have seen myself going for
Oh,
necessarily.
totally. Yes. Yeah.
It's so interesting. And so I'm curious to see kind of how it all plays out.
Yeah. No, 100%. One dude that like that's in LA, and I'm like, this is totally my type. Completely. And then like there's like one here, and then there's like, of course the app shit. But and then I'm like, you're like not at all what I would normally go for. But like it's again not a bad thing. I think it's just
Yeah.
it's and I think people are more open to like chatting
Yeah.
during quarantine. Like you kind of have to. So I do
Same
kind of
time.
like that too. I don't know. It's a weird thing. We'll have to catch up after Cinco de Mayo.
Right? To see how Cinco de Mayo goes. I'm gonna go some tequila. But yeah, I feel like quarantine is such a like I feel like the way I'm going into dating right now is pretty similar to the way I am outside of quarantine, which I feel like is what we need to is how we need to address it so that we don't get caught up in like this alternate fantasy world of quarantine life. And like for me, I think it's healthy to, because I know some people are like, well, if I'm going to date, then I'm going to date one person at a time. But it's like, I think you need to, and I tell my friends this all the time. I'm like, if you're going to date, you need to be talking to more than one person at the same time because
And I've never been that way. Ever.
but as humans, we start talking to one person and then we like get into it and then all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, we've been talking for 2 weeks, we're gonna get married. And like you start building it up in your head and then you get too attached and it progresses too quickly. And then all of a sudden, like it's like, oh no, too much too soon. Or the other person is like, you're being a little too much right now. Like I just think you need to keep especially right now while we don't have as many distractions, you need to keep your landscape with multiple things kind of like to look at.
And I agree with
like
you.
a stove. Have multiple pots and multiple pans on the stove. Some are going to simmer, some are going to boil, like and kind of navigate as you go, but like wait until something starts to boil before you're like, okay, this one's ready to take off the stove. But like make sure you just have multiple burners going. That way you have, your attention is kind of evenly divided.
That's like you talk to someone for 2 weeks and you're going to get married. And I'm like, I talked to someone for 2 weeks. Like I answer every 5 hours because I'm just like not wanting to be bothered.
Oh my gosh, I love you.
But that's good. No, but I am. I'm doing the same thing. Like I'm trying to be more like available for more people, like emotionally available or whatever, whether it's emotionally or physically. Because like even like I've always been like, oh, if I'm talking to one person, like I'm just going to put what effort I want to give into that. But then it's like, what, I don't know. Plus, me, like, I'm not a dater. Like, I'm just not a dater.
So what are you if you're not a dater?
Fucking no. I don't know. I've had like 3 relationships in my life. Like, do you know what I mean? So like, I'm not like I'm either in a relationship or I'm like fully single doing whatever the fuck I want. And now I feel like I'm kind of bringing the two together where it's like, I'm single, but like, I can at least like entertain multiple people. And I've never been like that, I don't know. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
But, we're all learning here.
We are. And I feel like there's just like so much learning that we have to do during this quarantine.
Yeah.
We're like learning a lot about ourselves. And I think that's really good. But like you have to be willing to like do the work and invest in yourself and be like, what do I want? What am I interested in? And I think now is a really good time to do that because again, we don't have all of the outside world distractions. Like now is the time to invest in it. And now that all the cities are starting to slowly open up around the country, it's like we're running out of time. Like really use these last few weeks as much as you can to like dig inward and like do that inner work. It's like now I feel like I remember the place that I was at the beginning of quarantine and the place that I'm at now. Like I'm so much more emotionally available. I feel like I'm in just such a better place.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And like I think too, being honest with yourself about things that might not be normal to the society that you live in or whatever. Like I was talking to one of my friends and she has a child and then she's dating a guy who has 3 kids. And so there's 4 of them total, 4 kids total. And she's like, I always wanted like I just always figured I would have another kid. And she's like, I'm like so happy right now having like his 3 and like my 1. Like it just, I'm happy. And I was like, if that's your answer, that's your answer. If you're happy, don't have another kid with this guy. Like, I'm like, who says you have to have a kid with the guy that you're with now? Like, the guy, like, if you guys get married and like, you don't have to have a kid to solidify anything. Like, if you're happy with having your one and his three, then like, stay there. Like, don't.
Yeah.
Just because society makes you have to have more than one kid. Yeah. Like, it's just, especially out here, like, everyone has more than one kid, you know? It's like, you get married, you have babies, and it's like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah. I can't wait to have babies.
I know, me too. It'll be fun.
I decided that. Like, nothing would make me happier in my life than when I get to have a baby.
Really?
I know that's like crazy, but like, it's true. Like that.
No, I can see you being such a good dad.
Like, I cannot wait to have, like, I want to have 2 kids and then I'm good. 2 max, maybe 1, but like maybe 2.
I feel like if you have 1, they always end up with like some type of like social, like.
Yeah, that's why I want 2.
They're like either assholes or like they can't share, or like they're like super like dependent on you, or so, I don't know. Not all. Sorry, there's a lot of single.
There are a lot of parents with single kids that are fine, but it's very easy to like not to like turn them into assholes.
Yeah, and I think too, like, there's just something about having siblings that you learn, like, just because you have siblings, you know, whereas a parent would have to teach a single child those things, like, I don't know.
And I want my kids to like have someone, you know, like I want them to have that sibling relationship. I want them to like have that connection. You know, I want them to like I want them to have somebody freak out, have somebody to go to when they're freaking out because they heard me Zack, like,
oh my God. My phone's or my computer's about to die. Give me a second here. No, I totally agree with that. And like, it's nice to like even be able to have siblings just like, like gossip about mom and dad too, or whatever. But sorry, there we go.
Yeah, I definitely want my babies.
But yeah, definitely need 2 kids for sure.
But I think, okay, so what other tips do we have for people that are dating right now? Like, okay, so I think FaceTime dates are a great way. What I love about FaceTime dates is that it's like, God, my hair. What I love about FaceTime dates is that it has you have the option to like get to know them without necessarily having to invest the extra time or money. So this is like a great opportunity to like see if you even like this person, to see if there's any chemistry, to see if you guys can hold the conversation without having to spend money, without having to waste time. Because like, think of how many dates you've gone on. You're like, oh my God, 5 minutes into, you're like, I don't want to fuck you. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to get through this with you. And that's where
I leave, where you all thought I just walked out. That's where I'm like, hey.
That was so funny when you said that, because we literally thought you like just pick up and walk out.
No, like I kind of do, but I tell them that I'm leaving. I'm not just like, I'm going to go use the bathroom and like leave. But I'm like, okay, well, I got to go.
Yeah, which I think is refreshing. It's a new candor that people aren't used to, that I think more people should have.
Because there's nothing wrong with it. Like, don't be rude. No. Like, I'm not like a dick to them. I'm not like, wow, you're a piece of shit. I'm just like, there's nothing here.
Yeah. So I'm very pro FaceTime dates, because you get to do that without, and it could be like a 20-minute date. And I've even done it where like I will make sure I set up my schedule around, like I had a date the other day and I was like, I can only stay on the call for like, you know, an hour because I have to tape at 2. Even though I really didn't have to tape until 3:30. But if the date didn't go well, I had an easy out to be like, okay, I have to go prep for the interview. And then ultimately we ended up talking for like a little over 2 hours, to the point where he was like, don't you have to like tape right now? I was like, oh yeah, I have to tape in 10 minutes, even though I had like an hour to prep. But it was because I wanted to make sure to have an exit strategy.
Totally. And always have one. Even what, like you said, even on virtual dates, always have an exit strategy.
Always have an exit strategy. I think FaceTime dates are a really good opportunity to test it out ahead of time. I think you should go on as many different dates as you can right now, just to kind of test out the waters and see what different flavors are out there. Like, treat this like Baskin Robbins and just like sample everything right now.
Try a little. Yeah. And you're right. I should probably do more FaceTime dates.
But also I want people to remember that like, this is a really unique situation that we're in. So utilize it for the inner work, but don't get too caught up in the dating because you are going to, or don't get too caught up in the relationship and get too excited because, again, you're not in the real world. You're not in a situation where you know how this person interacts at Starbucks or how this person interacts when you guys are out to dinner.
Right.
Like, you don't know if this person is a bad tipper or is an asshole to people around them or is constantly on their phone when you guys are out. Like, you don't know, liking other Instagram thoughts pictures. Like, you don't know, which is so hard. Like I said, I said my love language is words of affirmation, but like, if I know that you're like liking, like, you know, these sluts on Instagram and Twitter, and like, I just feel like I'm in competition with that. Is that a bad thing? That I just don't feel like I can live up to that?
I think that's totally normal. And I think that's why social media is the demise of most relationships now. It comes back to social media in some way.
And like, I know, because I've, again, told my friends, like, it doesn't mean anything. It's like watching porn. But like, for me, it just makes me, I don't know. I guess
there's a difference too. There's a difference between watching porn and being addicted to porn.
That's true. That's
there's a difference between liking somebody's photo on Instagram and then being like in everyone's comments, like constantly feeling the need to like go through people's photos. I mean, there's a difference there. I think if somebody like likes a picture of Kim Kardashian, you move along. If they're liking and commenting on pictures of other women that maybe don't have a huge following or that they feel like they can kind of connect with, then there's a bigger
have
issue.
access to. Yeah.
There's
I think that's when it's concerning. If they live in the city, if they know them, if they have like a pre-existing.
Well, everyone lives in fucking LA. That's
but still, it's like you have to really, because there's the difference between like the bitch that has 5 million Instagram followers that's posting thirsty pictures for everybody, and then that pretty girl that has like 12,000 that like lives, you know, 20 minutes away and, you know, has a little, you know, is responding to DMs.
Right. 100%.
So 100%. When it comes to like getting naughty via FaceTime or via like Snapchat and sending photos, what is your like rules for receiving and sending?
I don't know if I have rules. Shit. I need rules, I guess.
Well, I mean, like when, how soon is too soon? How like?
Okay. So I feel like I'm like not. I don't initiate like ever.
Okay.
Like I'm not like in sex and stuff like that, I'll initiate, but like I'm not gonna initiate with somebody. Like if for me, there's something cold about social media and about technology, and that's fine. So I'm not ever gonna be the one that's like, here, let me slip a nip. Like, how's your day going? Like, I'm not gonna do that. So they have to initiate it, which also I think is also probably a little insecurity. I'm like, you know, I want it, like, you have to want it. I'm not gonna just like put it out there for you. I mean, again, like I show my ass on Instagram all day long. Don't really care. Like everyone's seen that. So like that's not like I guess I put it out there for everybody. If I'm gonna put it out there, I'm like, yeah, here it is. Here's the booty. That's fine. But I think with like naughty photos and stuff like that, I won't initiate that. So if somebody else initiates it and like there's like if someone just DMs me like a picture of their dick, like of course they're not gonna get like anything.
Yeah, I
like,
think there's a way to ease into it without just like throwing it out there.
But I guess that's what I'm saying. Is like I have to like have a rapport. Like it has to be like it has to be like a situation more so than like, and like there's been some pretty like chill people that have been like, hey, and I'm like, fuck no, like I don't know you. We've never had like a full conversation. Like absolutely fucking not. But if you are going to send photos, make sure you trust that person. Again, you don't know people, but I feel like make sure that everything that you have up to that point is a trustworthy idea, I guess. Because even if it tells you that they screenshotted it, there's nothing you can do once they've screenshotted it.
Yeah, like, once they have it, it's there.
So, and then I always send mine with the one-time view.
Yeah, limit it. And then it like also assures you that like this is happening in the moment and like it's just for you, which I think like, you know, makes it feel a little more special.
I totally agree.
I like I like an unsolicited kind of thinking about you and, you know, wanting to kind of like turn you on a little bit. Not from strangers, not from like, like I don't like when like random people that I don't know send me like dick pics, but like send me, and you don't even need to send me a dick pic. Just send me something that's like kind of hot, that like I was feeling sexy and I was thinking of you when I was feeling sexy, and like here's something I hope you kind of enjoy. And then it's like, oh, but again, ease into it. Send it like, you know, where you can see like the little, where are those things called? Right above the, like in the abdomen, but like above the little V.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That V cut that like is like pointing to the dick.
Yeah.
Show me some of that and ease into it that way. You know what I mean?
Don't just be like full blown, here's my balls.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Plus, like, honestly, like,
balls are unattractive.
Yeah, it's just like, for me, like, dicks aren't like hot. Like, I
Depends
like
on
what
the
they
dick.
do. I like what they do, but I don't know. It's just like, again, if you're in the moment and like, sure, let me see it because like I'm hot, it's fine. But like, I don't, like, dick pics don't do anything for me.
I would prefer a video or like a clip, like a short, like little clip, rather than like a
dick pic. I'm like, your like dicks aren't attractive. Like they're not cool. Like just like vaginas
dicks are not pretty. Yeah,
vaginas aren't like, that's not like, you don't just like see a vagina and get turned on. It's like everything that leads up to seeing the vagina that's like that turns you on. And I think same with dicks. Yes,
there needs to be foreplay with sexting. Like there needs to be a small little build up.
100%, totally agree with that.
Before you like go full into it, I think.
So I hope everyone is taking notes.
Take notes, please take notes. Anything else when it comes to dating? I think, okay, just to recap, I'm pro FaceTime dates. I think you need to keep multiple burners on the stove. I don't mind. In terms of like the rule of like how soon, I mean, I think you have to test out the waters and see where the relationship kind of stands. Because like I said, there was one guy that I went on, that I talked to I went on 6 different dates with, and not once did sex ever really come up, or did we send any dirty photos. And then there's the other one that like, we went on, like, we've, you know, been texting a lot, and we've gone on like 2 dates, but like we progressed a lot quicker. Like it just kind of went there a lot faster than I expected. So, I mean, I think you really just kind of have to read the situation, but I think that, you know, some naughty videos definitely spice things up. But again, ease into it.
And then also too, I think, when this is all over, I think it's gonna, again, like, I think you need to prepare yourself for a transition leading back into dating in physical form, because I think a lot of like you said, a lot of those relationships may not last once we go back to normal life. And I don't think it's, you don't need to be like a pessimist about it, but I think you just need to realize like you're probably different too when life goes back to normal. Like everybody is going to be slightly,
you have friends, you have family. Like there are so many other things that are going to be on your plate.
Exactly. And it's okay however it ends up.
Yeah, that's why I think now is a good time to see and ask yourself, the person you're talking to, am I really interested in them? And can I see myself dating them outside of quarantine? And then remembering that and putting in the work and the commitment to actually continue to invest time into them outside of quarantine. Like you need to ask yourself those questions now. I think you need to ask yourself what it is that you want, what it is that you're looking for, not just right in this moment, because I feel like there's the moment where some of us are horny and lonely, but then there's also like what do I really want in general? So that when we get out of this, I know that that's my end game. I know that that's my goal. Like even, you know, last night when we were sending like naughty texts, I was like, look, I definitely want to fuck you, but at the same time, I also want you to know that I'm interested in dating, and I just need to make sure we're on the same page. Like you know, want to make sure that like we're still going to continue to talk, and then I'll fuck your brains out. Like,
sure, and then I'll do it. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I can't wait to hear how this goes.
Tactful, tasteful, you know.
I'll fuck your brains out.
Update on my dating life.
Good.
It happens.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I think I'm ready to go like out into the world today and try this.
Yes, I am too. I'm right. Or well, out into the digital world. I need to get
out into the digital world. I'm like, who wants to have a FaceTime chat?
Have you had sex since being in quarantine?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Like, well, like
anything with anyone?
Like not like no, not like with. I haven't been around people.
Oh.
I've had like digital time, fun times,
Yeah.
but like I haven't had not anything physical. But talk to me this weekend.
TBD.
TBD. Every day's a new day, Zach. We don't know what's gonna happen.
A new adventure. We don't know what today has in store for us.
Everyone's so much more chill here. Like,
yeah.
They're like, oh, you might have COVID. Cool, come on over.
Right. Get it over with.
We'll see. I'm gonna practice all my healthy habits.
I love that. Like, oh, you have COVID? Well, that means you might not be around much longer. Let's date.
Right? Let's just take this opportunity.
Then you broke up with me. I didn't break up with you.
Right, exactly. Fully.
That was so bad.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, any other words of parting wisdom?
Do what makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
That's it. And don't be like, I feel like everyone's just so wrapped up in like, is this right? Is this wrong? Do what makes you feel good. As long as you're not being nasty to somebody else or hurting somebody else's feelings, everyone will get over everything.
Agreed. Let it go as it. Let's let it progress as it will. Let it go. Let it go.
I'll let you do the same.
All right, guys, you can follow me at Just Plain Zack all over the internet to keep up with me and maybe my dating life. We'll see how this progresses. What about you?
You guys can follow me on all social media, Abigail _AF.
Don't forget to follow at the Adulting Podcast on Instagram and listen to the show on iTunes, Spotify. You can watch it on YouTube, and we're working on some very cool projects, so stay tuned. And don't forget to leave us a review because we like reviews and they give us validation.
Especially right now, you have nothing else to do.
Yeah, you have nothing else to do right now. Like, at least show us some love. Let us know what you're liking. Let us know what you're not liking. Yeah, we need all the feedback that we can get. And like, to be honest, I said my love language is words of affirmation. So please give me those words of affirmation. Oh, I just got a text message. Okay.
There we go.
All right, guys. And until next time, we'll be
busy #adulting.
Yay.